Mike Tomlin recently received some advice on how to go about his offseason, correct some mistakes, and take a step forward with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's listening. And that is a great sign. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackmine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/all Steelers talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they have started their offensive coordinator hunt in a big and a bright way. Heading into the offseason, there was speculation. There was concern. There were names that on the Steelers list of offensive coordinators you were begging were not going to be on there and not going to be candidates, and that the Steelers would avoid. And what most Steelers fans were looking for, and I think almost all Steelers fans were looking for, and their players included, with guys like Cam Hayward coming out and saying, hey, we should shoot for the stars with guys like Eric Bieniemy and Bobby Slowick and any of these top OCs in the NFL. The hope was that the Steelers were shooting for the stars, that they were going big or they were going home, that they were looking for somebody who could come in here and actually implement some change and actually shift the culture and make this offense great again. And, well, there was very much so worry that Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, and Art Rooney were not going to do so, because that is not the Steelers' way. That is not Mike Tomlin's way. And when Mike Tomlin walked into his press conference, his end of the season press conference, and said, I will be part of that committee. It will be me, it will be Omar, it will be Art, who look for the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. There was obviously some concern, and fans voiced that concern. Fans voiced the displeasure of having Mike Tomlin look for another offensive coordinator after failing to find one multiple times now throughout his career. And they were just begging and hoping that this time it was different. Then Mike Tomlin got some words of advice from probably a closer friend than we know, but somebody who wasn't actually speaking, hey, please listen to me. It was more so just, this is my bit. My bit will go as this. And if Mike Tomlin wants to listen, he could, because this makes a lot of sense. And it did. That advice came from Rich Eisen, who said that just like the great George Costanza, Mike Tomlin should hire someone who sees differently, who wants different, who disagrees, who wants and does not look for the same that Mike Tomlin is looking for, or that Mike Tomlin wants maybe in an offensive coordinator. That, just like the great George Costanza, he needs different. He's looking for different. He's looking for the opposite of who he is. And, well, at the time, I thought that was great advice, but I don't know if Mike Tomlin's going to listen. I don't know if that's who Mike Tomlin is. I don't know if that's who Mike Tomlin is looking for. After a long time, you just kind of feel like things are a certain way, and they work sometimes. They aren't working in Pittsburgh right now, but I don't know how drastic things are in Mike Tomlin's head, or in Art Rooney's head, or in Omar Khan's head. Well, we got some good news. And that good news is Mike Tomlin's looking for different. And he's looking for the opposite. And he's looking for somebody who is coming in here and who is going to change the Steelers' offense and do things that Mike Tomlin and this offense would never think about doing, maybe ever, with their current situation and their current staff and those who have been around for the last 7 years. They started with Rams quarterback coach, passing game coordinator, Zach Robinson, who immediately you go, that is the exact coaching tree we're looking for. There is one of two names that you are sitting around going, that is a coach that I will hire, and it starts with Sean McVay's coaching tree, Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree. That's it. If you get from either one of those two, you feel comfortable, you feel confident, you feel like there's an opportunity there. And maybe it doesn't work, and none of it is a given, especially when you're going off of people who don't have the experience of being an offensive coordinator, and you just never know what happens in the NFL And obviously, when you don't have a quarterback, or if you're working with Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett, it is a significant step down from Matthew Stafford and company. But you want the guys who have learned from the great offensive coaches. And I didn't think the Steelers were actually going to go about it. I thought when I was being realistic, when people would ask me, oh, who do you think is an actual name the Steelers would hire? I would say names like Pep Hamilton. I'd say, hey, that's a guy who has had success in the NFL, who has a relationship with Mike Tomlin, who isn't a total game changer, but he's a safe bet. I thought it made a lot of sense for the Steelers and what I believe the Steelers are into and are looking for. I think I was wrong, because if you asked me who I would hire, who my shooting star would be, who I would chase, it'd be Clint Kubiak. It'd be the passing game coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, a guy who has NFL legacy, who has the coaching tree that you're looking for, who has everything that you want in the next great offensive coach, who just, if you were to drop a resume and say, hey, this is what I'm working with, this is who I have learned from, Clint Kubiak is probably the top of that list. And I didn't think that was a real possibility. I didn't think it was a possibility at all. I didn't think the Steelers would even consider a name like that, because I didn't think they'd consider a coaching tree like that. But they started off with a bang. And man, if Zach Robinson is the guy, I'm okay with that. But I hope this is just the beginning. I hope requesting to interview somebody from the Sean McVay coaching tree means that there are other interviews coming from both coaching trees, and that the Steelers are looking for those coaching trees and just saying, these are the guys. These are the ones we're going for, because we are going to do the opposite. We are going to look for different. We are going to completely change everything around here and hope that it brings newfound success and that our offense could become one like all these other great offenses. You look at a team like Baltimore, who needed an offense, who needed a new offense, because they have the defense. They had the quarterback. They went out and they got the new offense. And here they are, probably the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. You look at the San Francisco 49ers, and they're always the same way, but their defense is just as dominant as any in the NFL. You don't have to just have a great defense, and I think the Steelers are starting to learn that, and they're starting to look for that, and they're starting to recognize that that is what's going to give them the advantage the next time they're looking to snap the 7-year winning streak in the playoffs. This is as great of a start as it could get. This is the beginning of change for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I truly believe that. And I think Steelers fans should wake up with a little bit of a smile this morning. I think you should look at the clock and look at the news and say, man, this could be a new day in Pittsburgh. This is the right move. This is the right first step. We're on our way. I don't know what it means about the quarterback situation, but I do think that if they're going to take the offensive coordinator this seriously, maybe they'll take the quarterback this seriously too, and they'll recognize that they really do need to find a solution there. No more playing around, no more guessing, no more relying on a guy because he's a first-round pick, and that's all you need. I think this is the offseason of change for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they have started with a great name coming from LA.